Mrs. Evans, please escape right away. The concierge suddenly said that to me. What do you mean? Ma'am, listen. As she revealed the truth to me, a chill ran down my spine. And immediately, I flee back to my parents' house. Wait, why did you suddenly disappear? I retorted against my mother-in-law's furious voice over the phone. I won't be fooled. I won't be manipulated by you. My name is Katie, 35 years old. I work at a telecommunications company, and I hold a managerial position. I have a responsible job, so I'm busy every day. There are challenging aspects, but I find it very rewarding. And I believe that one of the reasons I can work hard is because my personal life is fulfilling. I've been dating a man named Brian for about 3 years. We met on a dating app. We had many common interests, so I replied to his message. We exchanged messages several times and decided to meet in person. He was more refreshing and handsome than his pictures. And when we met and talked, it was very enjoyable. He was funny. After that, we started meeting each other and became a couple. Brian was very kind and considerate. We're currently living together, and he cooks for me every day. When I come home late from work, he prepares meals for me. His cooking is delicious, and it always makes me feel happy. Delicious. Thanks, Brian. Your cooking heals me.
Really? I'm glad you say that. I'll do my best with housework so you can focus on your job.
Thanks to him, I can lead a very healthy lifestyle. Lately, there are many couples where the woman is working hard. Personally, I've been thinking about marrying him someday. And just recently, he told me that he has something important to discuss. Brian? What's going on? This place... Isn't this where we had our first date? At that moment, I was taken aback. Could it be? Nervously, I waited for his next move. Brian seemed incredibly nervous. There's no doubt. This must be a marriage proposal. Thinking that, he took our ring from his pocket and started to speak.
I want to stay by your side. So, Katie, please marry me?
I was overjoyed by his proposal. The answer was, of course, yes. I said yes on the spot, and we decided to get married. I was incredibly happy to marry the man I love. My colleagues at work and my parents were also delighted. My parents seemed relieved that their daughter finally got married. Afterwards, we introduced ourselves to each other's parents and had a formal meeting between our families. His parents were very kind and treated me well from the first meeting.
Katie, feel free to talk to us about anything. We'll do our best to help the wedding preparations too.
Thank you very much. I'm excited. And Brian and I were able to have the wedding of our dreams. Many people attended, and it was the best feeling ever. Then our married life began. Just like before, with my busy work schedule, my husband takes care of the household chores, which is a great help. He keeps improving his cooking skills. The food he makes, which was already delicious, become even more tasty. Yum! You're a genius, Brian.
Right? It's one of my masterpieces.
My husband seemed to enjoy cooking and always prepares various meals for me. I feel bad leaving all the household chores to him, so on weekends, I'll do the cleaning and laundry to maintain a balanced life. The time flew by, and before I knew it, 2 years had passed. I am grateful that I was promoted again and became the head of the department.
Katie, you're really amazing.
It's all thanks to you for always helping me at home.
I see. I'm glad I can be of help.
I truly believe we are a well-balanced couple. I thought we could continue to live a happy life together from now on. Amidst that, my husband approached me with a serious expression, saying he wanted to discuss something. What's the matter?
Well, it seems like my dad injured his back. My parents said it's getting tough without some support.
Oh, that's concerning.
Yeah. So, Katie, I'm thinking about moving in with my parents.
Huh?
I mean, taking care of my dad alone seemed to be too much for my mom.
I was taken aback by his words. But I just got promoted. And to be honest, I didn't want to quit my job or make any compromises. Then, my husband said something unexpected.
Don't worry about that. I'll quit my job and help take care of my dad and assist with household chores.
Huh? Really?
Yeah. So you just focus on your work, Katie, and don't worry about anything else.
I thought about it for a moment. But if my husband is willing to take care of everything, then maybe it's okay. My in-laws' house is close to my workplace. If we live together, we won't have to pay rent anymore. When I considered these factors, it seemed like the benefits outweighed the drawbacks. I understand. Let's move. For all of us.
Really? Thank you, Katie.
My husband was really happy. Seeing him smile like that, I felt glad that we decided to live together with his parents.
Katie, thank you for moving in with us. We're happy to have you.
Likewise, I'm happy to be here.
Well, I thought I was still in good health, but I can't let my guard down, huh?
Please don't overexert yourself, though.
Haha, thank you, dear.
My in-laws warmly welcomed us. And so, our life together began. My husband made it possible for me to not have to worry about household chores. My in-laws were kind and never said anything, even when I focused solely on my work. In fact, they're curious about my work and supported me. I felt incredibly fortunate to have such a great husband and in-laws. So I decided to increase the amount of money I contribute every month. Wanted to give them a better experience.
Oh, Katie, is it okay if we accept this much?
Yes, I'm always grateful to you.
Wow, it's a big help. We were thinking that it would be difficult to get by with just our pensions each month. Oh, Katie, we're really glad you became our daughter-in-law.
I was happy to hear those words from my in-laws. In reality, I'm already 35 years old and I haven't had children yet. Even though it's only been 2 years since I got married, considering my age, I think it's barely possible for me to have children. So I'm grateful to my in-laws for treating me kindly without bullying me in that situation. I'm also grateful to my husband, who takes care of household chores. We were living a happy life together like that. However, after about 3 months, I started to feel a slight discomfort or change.
Katie, can I talk to you about something?
Yes. What's wrong?
Can you increase the amount of money you put in every month?
Huh. According to my mother-in-law, they are running short on living expenses. What are you spending the money on?
Actually,
our pensions are less than you think.
We're in a tight situation.
Huh. I didn't know that.
I couldn't bring myself to say it until now. You've done so much already, and I didn't want to cause you any more trouble.
I didn't know that my in-laws were in such a difficult situation. And I regretted that I had been so indifferent and focused only on work. I'm sorry, I've been too careless all this time.
Oh no, that's not true. Thanks to you, we've been able to get by.
I reflected on my actions and increased the amount of money I contributed to the household even more. The amount I chose may have been a little too much, but I thought it would make their lives much easier. And both my in-laws and my husband became even happier.
I'm glad you are my wife.
It made me very happy to hear that from my husband. Feeling needed by someone is a source of happiness. And in the midst of that, my mother-in-law's birthday was approaching. What should we do for her birthday this year? When I asked my husband that, he said,
Well, this is a resort she's familiar with. She wants to stay there. Really? It seems like she wants us to go there with her.
From my husband's tone, it seemed like my mother-in-law was a regular customer. When I asked my husband,
I haven't really asked her for details, but I think that's the idea.
I see. But it's your mother's birthday, so I feel bad making her do everything herself.
You don't have to worry about that. My mom is the type who wants to do all the reservations herself.
I see. Then it's better to let her do it the way she likes. At that time, I didn't really think much of it. I never imagined that they were planning something like that. And a little while later, the day of my mother-in-law's birthday arrived. We drove to the resort she had mentioned. When we arrived, it was a very luxurious and upscale resort.
It's so luxurious and amazing. I've never been to such a fancy place before.
Everyone was very excited. Huh? Wait a minute. Did my mother-in-law come here a few times before? I noticed that she seemed surprised, as if it were her first time here. At that moment, I received a call on my smartphone from one of my staff at work. I had taken a payday off today, so I wondered if something had gone wrong. I told my husband that I needed to take the call and went to the lobby. As I suspected, there was a problem at work, so I spent some time on the phone discussing it. My husband and in-laws were already taken to their room. After about 20 minutes of talking on the phone, I decided to leave the rest to my team. Today, I wanted to prioritize my family over work. When I finished the call and went to the reception desk, the concierge guided me. Without thinking, I followed behind. Outside, there was a beautiful garden that was meticulously maintained. Even though it was my mother-in-law's birthday celebration, I was happy to stay in such a nice resort after a long time. The concierge stopped, so I thought we had arrived in front of the room, and turned to face forward. But it seemed to be a back entrance or something. Excuse me? Mrs. Evans, please, escape immediately. Wait, what? I was startled when she suddenly said that to me. What do you mean? Ma'am, listen. And then the truth was revealed to me, and I was shocked. I quickly fled back to my parents' house. A few hours later, I arrived at my parents' home, having turned off my phone. There were probably a lot of missed calls and messages from my in-laws. After taking a moment to relax, I mustered up the courage to turn on my phone. As expected, there were numerous incoming calls like a flood. And just as I turned on the phone, a call came in, so I reluctantly answered it.
Finally! Katie, where have you been?
As soon as I answered the call, my mother-in-law started shouting.
Where are you right now? Come back immediately.
No, I can't come back.
What? What do you mean? You don't intend to celebrate my birthday? That's awful.
I retorted to my furious mother-in-law over the phone. I won't be fooled. I won't be manipulated by you.
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
You're trying to make me pay for the expensive accommodation, aren't you?
Huh?
That resort is quite high-end, right? And on top of that, the plan you chose is one level below the suite, right?
Well, that's...
So you were trying to make me pay for all that, right?
Well, now that you're the breadwinner of the family, it's only natural for you to pay, right?
Well, in that case, wouldn't it be normal to consult with me first? Why the hell did you keep it a secret? And also, the plan was to leave me behind when it came time to pay, right?
Why do you know that?
It seems that the resort staff happened to overhear your conversation in the room. Apparently, you were talking loudly and rudely with the door open. That woman is easy to manipulate. Just be a little kind to her, and she'll throw money at you. Ring any bells? It's just terrible the way you were talking about me. And I'm sure You had enough money for your expenses from the beginning, right? Anyway, I can't trust you anymore. I won't return to the resort.
Well, we can't cancel it anymore. That means we'll have to pay for everything.
Well, that's only natural, isn't it?
No, we can't pay that much.
My mother-in-law kept screaming over the phone. In the background, my husband and father-in-law were shouting something. But I didn't care and said it anyway. I'm getting a divorce, so please tell Brian. I said that and hung up the phone. The next day, the three of them came to my parents' house together.
Hey, what the hell are you thinking?
My father-in-law shouted as he stormed in. My husband and mother-in-law were standing behind, glaring at me and my parents.
I hastily withdrew money and paid for it.
Wow. Looks like you were in good shape, huh?
Well, you see, this is just...
Were you planning from the beginning to extort money from me and arrange for us to live together? And you faked your injury? The three of them were suddenly flustered. At that moment, my father stepped forward and delivered the final blow.
You've been deceiving my daughter and taking money from her. It's a clear case of fraud. We should consult the police and lawyers and take appropriate action.
Their faces turned pale at my father's words.
If you don't like that, then leave right now.
Upon hearing my father's words, the three of them hurriedly fled the scene. After that, I divorced Brian. I hired a competent lawyer, and I managed to get back a small portion of money I had been deceived into paying. They had extorted money from me, ordering expensive takeouts, and going shopping and enjoying themselves while I was away during the day. And in front of me, they pretended to live a modest life. I blame myself for being deceived, but I'm relieved that I didn't have to pay for the accommodation expenses this time. My ex-husband also quit his job, so their lives took a sudden turn for the worse, and they are now living in poverty. But they haven't been able to forget the days of luxury, and have fallen into a vicious cycle of borrowing money and wasting it. Well, it's no longer my concern. On another day, I went to thank the resort concierge, who sensed the danger and let me escape. As a gesture of gratitude, I decided to stay at the resort with my parents. The resort was truly amazing, with top-notch service and cuisine. While some family members may betray you, there are also strangers who can empathize with your situation and act accordingly. As we said our goodbyes, the concierge gave me a warm smile. Mrs. Foster, I'll be waiting for you again. I will never forget that smile. From now on, I've made up my mind to work diligently and honestly.